So over the past few days, I have been reporting to you all about all of these ships that the U.S. military is sending to Israel. At first, they announced that they were sending the USS Gerald R. Ford and its strike group to the area. And then I reported to you all that they were getting ready to deploy a second aircraft carrier strike group. They were getting ready to send the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower to the area as well. But now they have announced that they are delaying this deployment. Now, before you start thinking that this is good news, I'll go ahead and let you know right now that you're wrong. Now, when I first saw this news, I was thinking and hoping that maybe they know something that we don't know. Maybe they believe that the situation is going to calm down in the area. Maybe they think that things aren't going to get as bad as what we thought at first. Maybe they think that sending this many ships is unnecessary because things just aren't going to boil over to that level. Well, that's not the case at all. In fact, I find the reason why they're delaying this deployment more concerning than the initial news that they were deploying these ships in the first place. The reason they are claiming they are delaying this deployment is to increase the readiness of the ships to peak combat level effectiveness. Now, why would they need to do that if they weren't getting ready for combat? Don't get me wrong. I understand you want your ship to be ready for whatever. I get it. But they're taking extra levels of precautions. They delayed this deployment at the last minute to make sure that all of these ships are at peak levels of readiness for combat, which lets me know that they're preparing for combat. I mean, I told you all from day one when they started sending these ships that they were getting prepared to get involved. You don't send this many ships just to say, hey, yet they keep telling us, oh, we're just showing up to show support. Hey, Israel, we support you. Meanwhile, we're delaying the deployment so we can make sure these ships are ready for war. Now, they're not going to straight up tell you what their intentions are, but I think this piece of news makes their intentions clear. They're not just going to show support. They're going and they're fully ready to hop right in this thing and get fully involved in this conflict. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think that we're going to put boots on the ground, which is a possibility, but I can guarantee you we're going to be launching airstrikes from these aircraft carriers. We're going to be launching military missions from these ships, which is why they want them ready. This is why they're waiting a couple of days, making sure that everything's in order before they send these ships to the area. They're doing that because in the back of their minds, they already know what's about to happen. Now, meanwhile, we're still waiting on the ground invasion of Gaza. But oddly enough, it has not yet happened tonight. However, Israeli ground forces have entered the city of Nablus in West Bank, which is very concerning because now, before this war has really even started, Israel is already fighting on multiple fronts. You know, the West Bank and Gaza, they're two different things, okay? So as Israel is getting ready to invade the Gaza Strip, they're now fighting in the middle of various cities in West Bank. They're fighting on the border of Lebanon, and it looks like this is already a multi-front, at least a three-front war, where they're going to be fighting people over here, they're going to be fighting people over there, and they're going to be fighting people up there, and chances are they may even start having to fight people from other directions, because over here in the Middle East, everything is up for grabs. Everything is, you just don't know what to expect. I'll just put it like that. And basically everyone in this area of the world absolutely hates Israel. They absolutely hate Israel. So they're already dealing with a three-front war before the war has even really started. But talking about three fronts, I was thinking today about this conflict and about the various other conflicts going on in the world. And I can't help but feel like the U.S. is getting baited into various military conflicts on various fronts in order to stretch our military and our resources thin. Think about it. You know, one of the most famous strategies in war, one of the most effective strategies of war is the three-pronged attack. A lot of people think that England came up with this strategy, but that's really not the case, even though the British did use three-pronged attacks against America during the Revolutionary War. However, I think the three-pronged attack originated in like the Three Kingdom era of China. But we saw this strategy used a lot over there in countries such as China, Japan. I believe Japan used a three-pronged attack to invade Korea at one point, and Oda Nobunaga, one of the famous, most successful samurai leaders back in the day, he was famous for using three-pronged attacks. Three-pronged attacks have been a part of warfare for a long, long time. Now, what I believe America is getting itself into is not necessarily what you would call a typical three-pronged attack, although it is an attack on from three different fronts. For example, we're already involved in the situation in Israel. We're already involved in the situation in Ukraine. We're pumping billions upon billions upon billions of dollars into Ukraine every week. We're spreading ourselves thin. We're sending them money and ammunition that we can't even afford to replenish for ourselves. Okay? Now, we're about to be sending hella money to Israel. We're already dropping weapons and ammunition off to Israel. And as we keep printing money like it's free, just printing money and giving it to these other countries, it's causing our economy to collapse as well. This is why inflation is so bad. This is why everything costs triple the price that it cost 2 or 3 years ago. So at the same time, as we're fighting on these different fronts, either financially or physically, we're also hurting our homeland. We're hurting our own economy. But now that we're involved in Ukraine, we're getting involved in Israel, we still have one other front. What is that front going to be? Well, it's most likely going to be Taiwan. We've been talking about that for a long time. It looks like China wants to make a move on Taiwan, only a matter of time. And I can't help but feel like maybe China is the puppet master behind all of this. Because you see, China and Russia, they're getting close now. They were never that close. They should have never been allowed to get that close, but they're close now, and they're getting close with Iran. So the thing is, all of these different fronts that the U.S. is about to be fighting on, we're fighting different allies on the other side. So I can't help but wonder if this is part of China's strategy. You know, back in the day, a three-pronged attack is you would get your military and you would invade from multiple fronts. Now it's like they have a three-pronged attack on a more global scale. One of the most elaborate three-pronged attacks the world has ever seen. If we have the U.S. fighting Russia and Ukraine, we have the U.S. fighting various Middle Eastern nations in Israel, and we have the U.S. fighting China and Taiwan and in surrounding islands over in that area of the world. I think this is a war that we can't expect to win, especially in the weakened state that we are now. So, you know, if America keeps getting involved in all of these conflicts, how are we able to defend ourselves? The one thing that all of these conflicts have in common is that these are conflicts that we didn't necessarily have to get so deeply and closely involved in. All of these conflicts are America defending other people's homeland. America defending Ukraine, America defending Israel, America defending Taiwan. But if America is spread so thin, defending everyone else's countries, then how can we defend our own? How can we defend our own? That's what I'm worried about. But we're already involved in Ukraine. We're already involved in Israel. Only a matter of time before we're involved somewhere else. And before you know it, our enemies are going to have us fighting wars all over the world, financing wars all over the world. And in the meantime, the people in America are going to suffer. And the people in America aren't safe because our military and our money is going towards defending everyone else's country but our own. But for now, let me know what you think about all of this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all soon in the next video.